The small basin or pail, were handle or mizrak kartan in Hebrew, was used to collect the blood of the Passover offerings being made by festival's pilgrims in the temple's inner courtyard called the courtyard of the priests. 2 rows of Kohanim or priests formed. In one row they used a silver mizrak, in the other a golden mizrak. They passed the blood-filled mizrak from one Kohen or priest to the next. When the mizrak reached the final priest, standing close to the altar, he would dash the blood against the altar at the bottom, below the red line called in Hebrew, the sorek, in accordance to the Torah. Its reconstruction has been completed. Seen here is a priest with his mizrak kartan or small pail with a handle to collect the blood of an animal sacrifice. The large basin or pail with handle or mizrak gadol in Hebrew is used to gather the blood of the offering, and spill it onto the corner of the altar as commanded in Exodus 27 verse 3 in the Torah. It is used when slaughtering larger animals, cows, and bullocks. The bottom of the mizrak or pail forms a point in order that the vessel cannot be accidentally set down, allowing the blood to congeal, which would nullify the offering. The mizrak is made of either silver or gold. Its reconstruction has been completed. The silver and golden knives for slaying the sacrificial animals at the altar. They have been donated by Jews living in the U.S. The Passover lamb or Korban Pesach in Hebrew, meaning the sacrificial Passover lamb, which was offered on Monday the 11th of April 2022. Its ceremony has been rehearsed by slaying, sacrificing, and roasting on a temporary altar by the rabbis of the Mafgad-Mayim Lamigdash or the United Temple Movements at the Western Wall near the Dung Gate on the 10th Nisan, the first Hebrew religious month in the Hebrew year, 5782, 4 days before Passover, which was on the sunset of 14th Nisan or the evening of the 15th of April 2022. The silver shovel or Marchaftha Shol Kesef in Hebrew. It is taken by the Kohen or priest, immediately after sanctifying his hands and feet at the copper or brass laver. He ascends the altar and uses the shovel to gather the remaining ashes from the previous day's offerings. He descends the altar and discards the ashes in a receptacle called the saktha in Hebrew, a copper or bronze basin or cart with wheels on the courtyard floor to the altar. The silver shovel has been remade and ready to be used for removing the ashes at the altar of the burnt offerings. Its reconstruction has been completed. The saktha in Hebrew is a copper basin cart used for removing the excess ashes which accumulate on the stone sacrificial altar. It is made with wheels so that it can be easily led up and down the altar ramp. It is guided by 2 Kohanim or priests by way of chains attached to it. Its reconstruction has been completed. The incense offering shovel, or in Hebrew, Markaftha lahakatorath hakatorath. It is a special shovel of silver or gold used by the Kohen or priest to gather coals for the incense offering. He ascends the stone altar and takes coals from a fire dedicated solely for this purpose. He brings the coals into the Kodesh or holy sanctuary where he pours them onto the golden incense altar. Only on Yom Kippur or the Jewish Day of Atonement on the 10th Tishri, every year, the Kohen Gadol or High Priest is permitted to bring the shovel and the incense into the Holy of Holies and place them before the Ark of the Covenant. A special grip for the priest arm is attached to the handle of the shovel to assist him in carrying the shovel in his right hand while he carries the incense chalice in his left hand. Seen here is the high priest or Kohen Gadol dressed fully in white garments and turban performing the annual ritual of incense offering within the veil inside the Holy of Holies, on Yom Kippur at the first time he is permitted to enter within the veil only on the Jewish Day of Atonement. The other 2 times he enters the veiled most holy place is to sprinkle 8 times the bull sin offering for himself and later the same with a goat sin offering chosen by Lot, devoted to Yahweh for the sins of the nation in the previous year. Another view of the golden incense offering shovel with the grip of the handle on it to prevent any spillage of the burning hot coals, and the golden chalice or incense holder. Their reconstruction have been completed. The three-pronged fork or mazleg in Hebrew is mentioned in the book of 1 Samuel 2 verse 13, where the servant of the corrupt sons of Eli used to flesh hook the meat of the sacrificial animals from the boiling children, used to remove the hide in order to prevent them from being burnt as burnt offering on the bronze altar to the Lord. It is used to lift up and turn over offerings on the altar fire, or to temporarily remove unconsumed portions of the offering in order to rearrange the altar's large wood pile. Its reconstruction has been completed. The search for and significance of the red heifer for the rebuilding of the Third Temple. Since the new temple with its furnitures, vessels, utensils, high priest, priests, and the Jewish worshippers must first be purified from defilement and dedicated to the Lord, the search for a red heifer is being made by the rabbis of the Temple Institute. The Jewish tradition, Mishnah, states that the youthful age of such a red heifer must be from 2 to 4 and even 5 years. The color of its hide, 2 white or black hairs springing from the same follicle, will instantly disqualify it. If she had been put to any use, though only a cloth have been laid on her, she will no longer answer the requirement that required it upon her, that she had never been yoked according to the requirement of Numbers chapter 19 verse 9 to 17. Once this perfect red heifer had been found, she was to be sacrificed as a sin offering and burnt outside the camp and not in the sanctuary, and by the son of the high priest or by the immediate successor to the high priest. The blood of this sacrifice was to be sprinkled 7 times with the finger, not on the altar but towards the sanctuary. Then the whole animal, skin, flesh, blood and dung burnt, the priest casting it in the midst of the burning cedar wood with hyssop and scarlet. The ashes of this sacrifice was to be gathered by a man who is clean and laid out outside the camp in clean place. But the priest, who burned the red heifer and who gathered her ashes, was to be unclean until the evening, to wash their clothes, and the 2 former also to bathe their flesh in water. The requirement for the purification: the clean person was to take from those ashes, put them in a vessel, pour upon them living waters, then dip hyssop in it, and on the 3rd and 7th days, sprinkle him who was to be purified, after which he have to wash his clothes and bathe his flesh to become clean on the evening of the 7th day. The tent or temple and all the utensils in it were to be similarly purified. And lastly, he who touches the water of separation or avoidance from uncleanness was to be unclean until the evening. And he who sprinkles it was to wash his clothes. News from the Temple Institute on April 8, 2002. Red heifer born in Israel. It can now be revealed that less than a month ago, in March 2002, a red heifer was born in Israel. After the owner of the heifer contacted the Temple Institute on Friday, April 5, 2002, Rabbi Mahachem Machova and Rabbi Chaim Richman, the Institute director, traveled to the farm where the heifer is located to inspect and validate its status. The rabbis found her to be kosher and were satisfied that this heifer could be a candidate to be used in the process of the purification described in the book of Numbers chapter 19. This is an important development towards the rebuilding of the Holy Temple. The name given by the rabbis of the Temple Institute to this red heifer was Melody. Closer look at the red heifer reported by her Tikva Ministries after a few months in November 2002. Melody was rejected as non-kosher. Red heifer updates in November 2002 from the Temple Institute News Flash. The red heifer Melody has been disqualified as kosher by rabbis from the Temple Institute because she developed black eyelashes after a few months. So the search was resumed from now on for another red heifer to be born in Israel or anywhere else around the world. This is Geula, in Hebrew meaning redemption, the name given to another red heifer, an Angus breed from Texas, USA, discovered in 2002 by the Temple Mount Faithful and the Land of Israel organization. Geula, the new red heifer after Melody, was also disqualified as non-kosher later and rejected even though her hoof was very red when first examined. The reenactment or experimental burning of a red heifer. It was conducted by Professor Zohar Amar from Bar Ilan University, Israel in mid-August 2019. This exclusive news was reported by Israel 365 News on the 15th of August 2019. The test burning of a sick heifer for its ashes to make holy water for the purification of the Jewish worshippers, the temple, its utensils and furnitures, its priests and high priest have been successfully experimented in mid-August 2019. The experiment conducted by Professor Zohar Amar showed that the ashes produced is enough for 660 billion sprinklings, more than enough for every Jew alive today. Red Heifer Update 2022 or 5782, Hebrew year, after over 20 years search.
So okay, fine. So in general, we're talking about for just 5 minutes. We know that the red heifer is a very special thing in the world, and until the date we know of nine red heifers that we have, and the 10th one is supposed to come in the Messiah time when we need it. And just like what I'm wearing here, you guys can see the blue fringe, the teles. 20 years ago. This is part of, you have to wear tzitzit. 20 years ago, we didn't have we couldn't find this blue fringe, and it just came up. We had some people searching for it, and they found it in the ocean. It's with a snail that comes up every 7 years, for 2,000 years as long. So this is coming back. So we're living, all of us here, we're living in really special times. To be part, first of all, living in society, in the world in this time, but even more so, everybody that's here is taking part in actually making history as we speak today. This is it should be a magical moment for all of us. And we really hope that, the red heifers here, people have searched maybe around the world, but this is the farm. And I brought 3 different books. We won't read them exactly. I wanted to tell you the rules. I brought one of the Rambam, my enemies. He wrote around 1,000 years ago. So we have in here the halachot of Para Aduma, about a red heifer. That's one thing. I brought the Mishnayot. This is 2,000 years ago. We have here also talking about that. And then this is from our days. This is the Rabbi Ariel from the Temple Institute who wrote this book, helping us today how to deal with this. So now, enjoy the music. This is the orchestra we hear. Now, there's 3 main things we want to pay attention to. First is make sure that the red heifer doesn't have any injuries. Okay, so when I said injury, it could be a leg that's limping, or it could mean even a tag in its ear. So we know that Donald had a miracle this year called COVID. I mean, COVID, there's also some good things that came out of it. One of them is this, and maybe Donald, you want to tell us what happened?
Yeah, so normally with a registered herd, the red Angus cattle are registered. Normally you have to weigh them and tag them the day before so that you can identify them to their mother. And because of COVID, my hand didn't tell me he was leaving, and he just left. I've been left to do all this by myself. I'm primarily an attorney. So 5 heifers didn't get tagged this year. Normally they would all be tagged. For the last 20 years, they've all been tagged the day before. All had a blemish the day before.
I mean, so that's number 1. Rule number 1. So far, those we're gonna.
How did you find me?
God sent me. No, I'm serious. I mean, I looked. We started to search. Me and Tzachi started when you're trying to, take part of what's happening here. But I'll leave that for maybe towards the end. So just rule number 2, halacha number 2 is we don't want any. It has to be red. So what is red? Red doesn't have to be ketchup like Heinz or Osim in Israel. It needs to be anywhere from a horse's brown all the way to the ketchup. Okay, so like anywhere in between any one of those colors is considered red. Okay, so we're gonna check that out now. If it has 2 white hairs or 2 black hairs or that are on it, it makes it not red anymore. Okay, it's not considered So we're going to be checking that out. And the third thing is these heifers can't be used for anything that's not for them. So that means I can't lean on it. I can't even put my little clip over here on them. If I just put this clip on them, that's it. They're not. We can't use them. So we're gonna be. I know that nothing has been put on them. They haven't been worked the field. I mean, the plow the field. They're too young anyhow. But that's something we have to be careful. And once we have all that, then we need it to be in a third year, which means 2 years and 1 month. So these are very young. What do we have? What are the ages of the heifers we have
They're
there?
going to be less than 6 months old.
Less than 6 months. Okay, so mark in your calendar that if say we find the right one, in another year and a half, we'll all be in Jerusalem, all of you, plus another millions of other people, and we'll be doing the ceremony of the Red Heifer, taking us towards the doorstep of the temple and the redemption and the Messiah. So this could be the entry of it all is right over here. So we're going to be searching them right now. And if it is right in, you already have in your calendar. This year in Hebrew is Af Shin Pei Aleph. That's the Hebrew letters. Teheh. This should be Shnat, the year. Para Aduma, the red heifer. So this is the year of the red heifer, which means it could be the year that we actually create the ceremony. It also could be the year that they were born. We don't know which one that is. So that's why this year has another extra element to it. So maybe we can get straight to work.
Yes.
I would be very glad to start to inspect them.
I must say something.
Yeah, but first,
I must say something. You know, when I told to my children that I came here,
Please introduce yourself.
so
They want you to introduce yourself.
My name is Mamo. We work together with Tanan. I apologize about my English, and I forgive you for your Hebrew. So I can. I just told that when I told my children about this project, they told me, "Father, it's little funny, it's little strange. What are you talking about?" I suppose that everyone from you think like this. You don't say it, but you think like this. It's funny, it's strange, it's not. And I told them answer that I want to tell you, and I think that this is the real thing. 100 years ago, my grandfather sit in Germany next to the Rhine River, and he told to his kids, listen, next year we're going to Palestine. And all the kids told him, Father, what are you doing? It's a disease place. It's not normal place. Why we have to go there? And he said, because this is the land of Israel. This is the Messiah will come there. And everybody left. So we jump 100 years. Israel is a miracle. And I hope that another 100 years, our grandchildren will say the story about strange people who went until, I even don't know the name of this city, Comanche, to find red heifer. So the big miracle that looking strange starts somewhere. And today is the day. Today is the day that we say, in front of the world, we are looking for the red heifer. Because we know that this is a stage to the Temple Mountain. This is a stage to the Messiah. And if we understand that we can bring the Messiah, we don't have to wait until he will come. This is not our system. Our system is to push the Messiah to come. And we're looking for the red heifer. And I hope maybe we'll find today, maybe we'll take another half a year, maybe another year. But it's beginning the way to the target. So let's try to start today.
So when Anan first contacted me about him, I thought, okay, this is one more scam. he's gonna want my bank information, and then I'll wire him 1,000, and he'll wire me 1 billion, right? But I thought,
we'll find your cousin somewhere in.
Exactly. But I thought, okay, I'm gonna play it along. So I just emailed him back. I said, "Is this for a numbers 19 sacrifice?" And you could read the excitement in his email, but he knew that I knew what it was about. and then I was pretty sure it wasn't a scam. The man didn't want my money.
Not your cat. Yeah, that's number 3. We gave them numbers.
Yeah.
When we were checking them for the first time with Rabbi Ariel on the Zoom, we gave the numbers so we should be able to know which is what. But I could tell that one has a bit of a black tail. But we'll get closer. We're gonna this one we don't want. This one has a white head, but he's not right. He's not relevant. But we'll let's start with this guy, the black tail one. Okay.
Right, let me get these.
What do you need to do?
I'm gonna just pour some stuff on the back and let them out.
Okay, no problem, no problem. Maybe it'd be interesting for everybody to give like 1 minute on their thoughts from the group. Maybe if you don't mind going around giving them their names and where this hits them in their life, like what is it? Okay, so one by one, Becky will come to you guys, and if we could have the red heifers in the background, that'd be also great. And please share with us a little bit your feelings, your thoughts. How did you guys end up on this special trip, on this delegation? You know, so.
Hello, I'm Byron Stinson, and I've been to Israel about 60 times, and I've been a good friend to Saki Momo now since 2007. And through that friendship and through knowing each other, we both want to honor the God of Abraham. And we know that red heifer is the opening step, as Saki said.
Sorry, Byron.
I can't compete with the competition, but we're here because the Lord opened this day up, and we want to bless the Lord, and we want to see that there's a place of worship on the Temple Mountain for our family members to worship, and we love all of Israel.
Amen.
My name's Wayne Hannock. I'm a friend of Israel. I love Israel and I love God, and friends with Saki Mamo, and feel blessed that I'm here to watch the process as God unfolds His will on earth.
Alan?
Elon Lord, yes, I'm just so excited about this, but I got a call to come and do a ride along. Love Israel, waiting for the Messiah. I believe also from the whole world that loves Israel is here for this purpose. And we're excited, and I just want to say hello to the Shukian family of Benevrik and Jerusalem. Shalom.
Very good. Does anyone else want to go?
I'm Michelle Alex, and I'm from Texas. I love Israel and Byron, and it's very privileged to be here.
No, that's okay. My name's Becky, and well, I'm Becky.
Becky, the videographer. Thank you very much.
That's right. That's who I'll be today, right?
No, no hay pedo. זה שערות לבנות. מה?
זה לא נשאר לנו. זה לא לבן, יש לה כמה לבן. Where is that? You want to bring the
Just
you can put it in the camera if you want, like
Sure.
around and stuff. So you can on.
If you need me to help you turn her
Yeah, you don't. You might. I can.
here she goes.
זה עקשנית.
Come on, girl. Come on, girl. It's okay, baby. Come on. It's all right.
Yeah,
It's okay, girl. You're a sweet girl. Yeah, you're a sweet girl. Yeah, you're a sweet girl. You're a sweet girl.
Next to her mouth, she has here a whole bunch of blackberries. You guys see this?
She wants to lick the phone.
Yes, over here. We're definitely on the black side.
Yeah.
And over here, these are okay, these whiskers, because like one at a time. But over here,
It's okay, girl. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
okay, I think she's a no-go.
Okay.
But let's see the. Could somebody give me a second the camera? I want to see the bottom of this thing.
It's on photo. It's not on video.
Okay, it's fine. No, I'll look through your screen.
Oh, okay.
Scheisse. Oh, that's kind of what you're doing.
Have you got the camera flipped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna let it go. But yeah, let's put her in here.
It's okay, girl. Go on. Good girl.
She's getting big, you know?
Good girl.
הקטנה.
These are the red heifers that landed at Israel's Ben Gurion Airport. Rabbis believe the ashes of a red heifer are necessary for purifying priests to serve in a future temple. The heifers were discovered and brought to Israel with the help of the Bonei Israel Building Israel organization and its team leader, Byron Stinson. Rabbis from the Temple Mount Institute approached Stinson about the unique cattle.
They said, Byron, could you look in Texas and find us a red heifer? I wasn't expecting that, and it was shocking to me to think about it, but I know a lot of ranchers, and I know a little bit about cattle, being from Texas, and I always say yes to these Jewish rabbis because they're my friends, and I love them, and why not?
This began an in-depth process of finding the rare heifer that meets key stipulations found in the Bible.
The Bible gives us a clue as to the significance of the red heifers here in Numbers chapter 19, verse 1 and 2, where it says that God spoke to Moses and Aaron saying, "This is the ritual law that God has commanded, instruct the children of Israel to bring you a red cow without blemish, in which there is no defect, and on which no yoke has been laid." So it says that we're supposed to take a perfectly red cow with no white hairs or dark hairs at all, and a cow that no yoke has ever been on. So as a result, it's very, very rare to find a baby cow that is completely red.
The ashes of the red heifer would be used to purify water from the Gihon spring in the city of David. Just a few ashes could purify thousands of gallons of water. That water can be then purify priests from any contact with a dead body, so they can offer sacrifice in the temple.
Some Jews go every single day to a ritual bath, to a mikveh, in order to approach God in prayer in purity. However, it is not the same because we don't have the red heifer. Once we have the red heifer, we'll be completely pure and we'll be able to rebuild the temple.
The red heifer must also be 2 years old. These cattle are just around a year old and could qualify in just over a year.
So if they're able to make it without growing the white hairs or black hairs, I think with 5 of them we have a really good chance of that. Then they will be the first one in 2,000 years.
The Jewish sage Maimonides from the 12th century said throughout the first and second temples there were 9 red heifers. He said the 10th would signal the appearance of the Messiah. That's why many are excited about this arrival. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
This red heifer will be brought out of the city of Jerusalem for its final, bloody, and fiery destination for her ashes. The 10th and last red heifer before redemption comes to Israel, led out of the Temple Mount to the Mount of Olives through the eastern or golden gate in biblical times, will be slain, sacrificed for her blood, and burned with a cedar wood and a hyssop branch tied with a scarlet woolen thread outside the camp or city for her ashes to make purification water. The blood is sprinkled 7 times facing the city, towards the eastern entrance to the temple after the high priest or a priest slaughters the red heifer standing atop the wooden altar.
And thou shalt make an altar to burn incense upon, of shittim wood shalt thou make it. A cubit shall be the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof. 4 square shall it be, and 2 cubits shall be the height thereof. The horns thereof shall be of the same. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, the top thereof and the sides thereof round about, and the horns thereof. and thou shalt make unto it a crown of gold round about. And 2 golden rings shalt thou make to it under the crown of it, by the 2 corners thereof. Upon the 2 sides of it shalt thou make it, and they shall be for places for the staves to bear it withal. And thou shalt make the staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold. And thou shalt put it before the veil that is by the ark of the testimony, before the mercy seat that is over the testimony, where I will meet with thee. And Aaron shall burn thereon sweet incense every morning when he dresseth the lamps. He shall burn incense upon it. And when Aaron lighteth the lamps at even, he shall burn incense upon it, a perpetual incense before the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall offer no strange incense thereon, nor burnt sacrifice, nor meat offering, neither shall ye pour drink offering thereon. And Aaron shall make an atonement upon the horns of it once a year, with the blood of the sin offering of atonements. Once in the year shall he make atonement upon it throughout your generations. It is most holy unto the Lord.
The incense holder or Habaziach li Ketureth in Hebrew and the incense altar, or Mizbeach HaKetureth in Hebrew. Remolding of the incense chalice have been completed and the reconstruction of the golden incense altar have also been completed. The golden incense altar, or in Hebrew, Mizbeach HaKetureth. It is a positive commandment to offer incense twice daily upon the golden incense altar, also called Mizbeach Zahab in Hebrew, which stands in the Kodesh or holy sanctuary of the holy temple. It is considered to be the most beloved among the commandments performed by the Kohanim or priest, and partly imparts great blessings to the Kohen or priest who performs it. As per Exodus 30 verse 2, the golden altar is 1 cubit or 18 inches in length, 1 cubit or 18 inches in width and 2 cubits or 36 inches in height. It is made from wood overlaid in gold. The golden incense table of the tabernacle was made of acacia wood. The golden altar in the holy temple was made of cedar wood. The golden incense altar made by the Temple Institute is made of cedar wood overlaid with gold as that of the second temple. The golden incense holder or chalice called Habaziach li Ketureth for the golden incense altar, called Mizbeach Zahab. It is filled each morning and afternoon with half a portion of the prescribed incense components, after which it is brought by the Kohen or priest into the Kodesh or holy sanctuary, where he pours the contents into his hands and then pours from his hands onto the golden incense altar, which stands directly in front of the parashe or veil which separates the Kodesh or holy place from the Kodesh HaKodeshim, the Holy of Holies, also called the Most Holy Place. Another look at the golden incense holder or chalice for the incense altar. The Habaziach li Ketureth or incense chalice, which holds half a portion or approximately 200 grams of the incense offering ingredients. The chalice is carried into the sanctuary of the temple, where the golden incense altar stands. Upon entering the sanctuary, the priest sounds the small ring-shaped bell seen on the top of the chalice cover.
And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold, of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knobs, and his flowers shall be of the same. And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it, 3 branches of the candlestick out of the one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side. 3 bowls made like unto almonds, with a knob and a flower in one branch, and 3 bowls made like almonds in the other branch, with a knob and a flower, so in the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick. And in the candlestick shall be 4 bowls made like unto almonds, with their knobs and their flowers. And there shall be a knob under 2 branches of the same, and a knob under 2 branches of the same, and a knob under 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches that proceed out of the candlestick. Their knobs and their branches shall be of the same, all it shall be one beaten work of pure gold. And thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it. And the tongs thereof, and the snuff dishes thereof, shall be of pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it, with all these vessels. And look that thou make them after their pattern, which was showed thee in the mount.
Seen here are the process involved in the reconstruction of the golden 7 branches lampstand or menorah in Hebrew. It starts with cutting out a wooden mold for the molten gold of the menorah. Then the gold for the menorah and its lamps are smelted and poured into their holds. The torching and hammering of the golden menorah. The process of reconstructing the golden menorah is seen here in these photos, with an initial bronze structure and then immersing it into the gold electroplating bath to overlay it with 43 kilograms of gold. Finally, fixing and aligning the branches, stem and base of the menorah. The remolding and reconstructing of the menorah or golden 7 branches lampstand with its 7 almond-shaped lamps, with knobs or bulbs and flowers at the top has been completed. The menorah or golden 7 branches lampstand seen on display at the Temple Institute in the Old Jewish Quarter in Jerusalem. This was the first golden menorah reconstruction since the destruction of the Holy Temple in 70 AD. It was generously donated by Mr. Vadim Rabinovich, a leader of the Jewish community of Ukraine, former Russia. The menorah or golden 7 branches lampstand seen on display at the Temple Institute. It has been relocated on the 2nd day of Hanukkah or the 8 days Jewish Feast of Temple Dedication, which started on 25th Kislev, the 9th Jewish month, or our November-December.
The golden menorah constructed by the Temple Institute for use in the Holy Temple stood in the corridor here in the Old City of Jerusalem for 7 years. It's now been moved to a new location on the stairs that lead to the Western Wall Plaza and, in fact, the Temple Mount. The Bible commands us, "And you shall make a menorah of pure gold. Of beaten work shall the menorah be made." To meet this daunting challenge, the Temple Institute, after many months of intensive research, assembled a team of artisans and craftsmen, engineering experts and scientists to recreate the golden menorah fit for use in the Holy Temple. The menorah contains 95 pounds of pure gold. Today valued at $2 million, its total weight is 1/2 ton. To facilitate the move, a special steel frame was devised to protect the menorah throughout the duration of its journey. Silver trumpet blasts are sounded as the workers raise the menorah up out of the Roman corridor and towards its destination, alongside the Yehuda Halevi staircase, 440 yards away. As it enters into the Jewish Quarter Plaza, throngs of onlookers and well-wishers escort the menorah along its way with jubilant song and dance. For 2,000 years, the Jewish people have become accustomed to the scene depicted on the Arch of Titus, notorious symbol of Jewish exile. Our forefathers, forced to carry the sacred vessels of the Holy Temple out of Jerusalem and into exile. Witnessing the menorah once again being carried through the streets of Jerusalem, but this time towards the Holy Temple, filled the people with an overwhelming feeling that history was being reversed, a circle being closed. Young girls hold the 7 oil lamps, each designed to contain 1/2 lug, 150 grams of pure olive oil. The protective frame is removed and the menorah is set safely in its new position. Rabbi Yisrael Ariel of the Temple Institute sets the first oil lamp in place. Yehuda Glick, the Institute's director, along with the moving foreman, places the 7th lamp. The 7th night of Hanukkah marked the dedication ceremony, where prominent guests and notables celebrated the golden menorah, now standing in its new location. The menorah was unveiled by Yonah Metzger, the chief rabbi of Israel, and Oleg Rabinovich, son of the menorah's main benefactor. Hanukkah really is a story that seems kind of like a dream from days past. The dream of the Jewish people is on its way towards realization. That dream is, of course, the goal of our purpose, to be a vessel, a vehicle like the vessel of the menorah that brings the light of the Holy One, blessed be He, into the world.
A Kohen or priest attending to the 7 lamps of the golden menorah standing on a 3-tier stair, with the 2 pitchers of big flask and a smaller flask of olive oil on the stand, and the cleaning vessel at the bottom. Were the 6 branches straight or curved? Archaeology have confirmed the latter as depicted in the Arch of Titus and in the many paintings and stone masonries of many synagogues of the Jewish diaspora to be correct. The temple cause or olive oil lamps and wicks for the menorah. The temple cause or the 7 olive oil lamps called neroth in Hebrew, in Leviticus 24 verse 4, shaped like almonds with a knob or bulb and a flower attached to each lamp below them, to top the menorah according to Exodus 37 verses 17 to 23. Their remolding have been completed. The depressions for the wick and olive oil can be seen when it is opened. When it is closed it looks like an almond. The Kohen or priest lighting the lamps of the menorah. Each lighted wick in the western or 7th lamp on the left is used to light up the wick of the lamp next to it to the right, and the same procedure is repeated until all 7 lamps are lit. Harvesting and producing the pure olive oil, called shomen in Hebrew, for the Holy Temple menorah. copper or bronze vessel for the cleaning of the 7 lamps of the menorah with tongs and a brush. Another photo of the copper or bronze cleaning vessel for the 7 lamps of the menorah comes with a brush hanging on one side and tongs on the other side of the stem of the basin. The vessel for cleaning the menorah, in Hebrew, hakalim lahatobath neroth ha-menorah. One aspect of the daily Tamid service in the Holy Temple is the cleaning of the 7 menorah lamps called neroth, which also mean light bulbs in modern Hebrew, by the Kohen or priest. To aid in this task he is provided with a special vessel which includes tongs and a brush. Only after the lamps are cleaned, the oil is replenished and the wicks are replaced, are the menorah lamps rekindled. Its reconstruction has been completed. 2 olive oil pitchers or flasks. Seen here are the big oil flask and the smaller oil flask. Their reconstruction have been completed. The olive oil pitcher or jug, in Hebrew, called pak hashomen, for the menorah is used by the Kohen or priest to replenish the oil of the 7 menorah lamps. The pitcher contains 3.5 log or approximately 2 liters, enough oil for all 7 lamps. The pitcher design is based on a depiction on an ancient coin from the Second Temple era. The small olive oil flask, or in Hebrew, pakiaf shomen lam menorah, contains ½ kilogram of pure olive oil, the precise amount needed for each of the 7 menorah lamps. Once a day, the Kohen or priest pours from the larger oil pitcher into the smaller flask, and then fills the menorah lamps before rekindling them. ½ log or approximately 150 grams of oil is sufficient to burn throughout the night and the following day. Here both are seen standing on a pedestal behind the priest as he attends to the lamps of the menorah. Both the construction of the large and small olive oil pitchers or jugs have been completed. The filling of the 7 lamps, or in Hebrew, neroth shubah of the menorah with olive oil and its subsequent rekindling have been rehearsed by Rabbi Eliezer Goldschmidt of the Temple Institute dressed in white priestly garments on the 7th night of Hanukkah 5774 or in December 2013 and Rosh Chodesh Tevath or Head, meaning the first day of the 10th new month. He started with the western or last branch and then proceed to the rest on his right. Here is the video of the rehearsal of the lighting of the menorah on the 7th night of Hanukkah, or on the 1st of Tebet, the 10th Jewish month in the Hebrew year, 5774, or on Wednesday, the 4th of December, 2013.
שני, הכהן כבר מוכן עם שמן הזית שראינו כיצד הוא נמסק, והרב ישראל אריאל ינחה את הטבת הנרות והדלקת המנורה.
ברוך שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה, עדיין לא לבית המקדש, אבל אנחנו עושים פה במפורש את ההכנה, את התרגיל המעשי לקראת הדלקת הנרות בבית המקדש. כדאי לדעת שעוד הלילה אפשר לקחת את המנורה שאתם רואים כאן, שראיתם איך שהיא נוצרה, מנורת זהב, אפשר עוד הלילה להביא אותה לבית המקדש ולהדליק היום את המנורה כפי שעשו החשמונאים. אנחנו אומרים בתפילה, ואחר כך באו בניך לדביר ביתך ופינו את היכליך והדליקו נרות בחצות קודשך. אנחנו לצערנו כבר כמעט 50 שנה מאז שחרור הר הבית ועוד לא הדליקו. היום בלילה עוד אפשר להדליק אם רק עם ישראל ירצה בכך. אנחנו נדליק עכשיו בתור תרגיל במנורת העץ שאתם רואים פה. אסור לעשות מנורה של זהב, כתוב לא יעשה אדם מנורה. ולמה לא? כיוון שהמנורה הזאת שאתם רואים זה רק בשביל בית המקדש. אסור לעשות המנורה הזאת לא כמנורה פרטית ולא, אפילו לא לבית כנסת. ולכן אנחנו הכנו מנורה של עץ לצורך התרגיל, זה מה שאתם רואים פה, מנורת עץ מצופה זהב. ואנחנו הולכים יחד עם הרב אליעזר. אגב, אליעזר זה אחד משמותיו של המכבים שמסר את נפשו במלחמה. הרב אליעזר הוא ידגים לנו איך עושים את מנורת, איך עושים את הטבת הנרות. בבקשה הרב אליעזר. אנחנו רואים עכשיו את הנר השני, ותכף תראה איך נעשה את ההדלקה. אנחנו תכף נראה איך עושים את ההדלקה. שימו לב, אין כאן שמש כמו בתוך המנורה, בתוך החנוכיה שאנחנו רגילים לעשות בבית. אין פה שמש. את האש מביאים מן הגחלים של המזבח. לוקחים מהמזבח אש גחלים ומדליקים את הנרות. לא סתם מדליקים. הנה אנחנו מגיעים אל הנר השביעי, תכף נראה איך מדליקים את הנרות. אנחנו נוסיף ונאמר שכל כהן, לא רק שהיו מברכים שהחיינו בפעם הראשונה על הדלקת הנרות, אלא כל כהן שלא הדליק אף פעם, הוא עכשיו מכבדים אותו להדליק את המנורה, כיוון שבשבילו זה מצווה חדשה. הוא יברך שהחיינו על הדלקה, אבל כפי שאמרנו רק בשם, לא בשם ומלכות. אם כי על התרגיל אפשר לברך גם בשם ומלכות, אבל אנחנו לא בוחרים לתרגיל.
ברוך אתה השם אלוקינו מלך העולם אשר קדושתו של אהרון והצילנו להדליק נר מנורה במקדש.
אמן.
ברוך אתה השם אלוקינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו בזמן הזה.
אמן. עכשיו נדליק את הנר המערבי וכולנו נשיר הנרות הללו אנו מדליקים בבית המקדש. נרות אנו מדליקים, הנרות שאנו מדליקים בבית המקדש, בבית המקדש הקדושים. וכל שבעת הנרות הללו, הנרות הללו קודש הם, ואין לנו רשות להשתמש בהם, אלא אנחנו מקווים שבעזרת השם נזמין את כל הקהל שנוכח פה יחד עם כל בית ישראל להדליק את מנורת המקדש במקומה הראוי, לקיים את המצווה להעלות נר תמיד בבית המקדש שנבנה אותו במהרה בימינו. אתם מוזמנים מחר בבוקר למחשבה עם בגדי עבודה, לקחת את האבנים, לחצוב אותם, לבנות את בית המקדש, להכין את המזבח, ואז נשיר את השיר על חנוכת המזבח ונבנה אותו במהרה בימינו, ונדליק שם את המנורה שממנה נדליק את אורו של עולם במהרה בימינו, אמן ואמן.
An artist's view of the interior of the coming third temple. The Kodesh or holy place of the sanctuary where the priests daily attend to the incense at the golden incense altar located in the middle before the veil, the changing of the showbread at the golden table of the showbread every morning, to the right or north side, and the cleaning and changing of the oil of the 7 lamps of the golden menorah at the left or south side, and its rekindling every evening. An artist's depiction of the daily Tamid service in the holy place of the sanctuary of the coming to be rebuilt third temple. Will there be 11 menorahs and 11 tables of the showbread in the coming third temple as it was in Solomon's first temple? It was a custom that during each of the 3 pilgrimage festivals, namely Passover, Shavuot or the Feast of Weeks, and Sukkot the Feast of Tabernacles, the Kohanim or priests would hold up the 93 sacred service vessels for all the pilgrims to see. Included among the sacred vessels were the table of showbread, the golden incense altar and the menorah, all 3 of which stood in the Kodesh sanctuary. This would be the only occasion for non-Kohanim or priests to see with their own eyes these 3 vessels. This painting shows Kohanim or priests carrying 2 of the 3 sanctuary vessels outside of the sanctuary, where pilgrims have gathered together to view the sacred objects. 2 Kohanim or priests are seen warning the onlookers to keep their distance, lest they accidentally touch the vessels and thereby making them impure. But just in case they did, an identical spare vessel stood waiting to temporarily replace the impure vessel until it could once again be rendered pure.